What's going on, guys? So we're back again with another gameplay video. This time we have Perth Pro Players team member Chris Wright here on the left playing Supreme Kai of Time, and we have Jake here on the right playing Android 21. So just before we get started into the gameplay video, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Team Card Titan. So if you guys want any DBS Seal products or DBS singles, make sure you check out that link in the description below, and also our local sponsor, Beyond Games in Balcutta. So if you guys like card games, you like tabletop games, you like anything, make sure you go check out that store. Absolutely incredible team. Absolutely incredible place. Always good events being run as well, which is just great to see. So, Jake, Android 21, obviously very, very strong deck. We know that boogeyman of the format, as I said. We do need to learn how to play against it. It is very, very interesting. We are going to play a 21. So we're going to go for our search off 21, and then we're going to go for our search off our leader just here. Always scary, probably taking life in this matchup. Chris loves a good aggro deck. Obviously, Supreme Kai of Time is very, very aggressive. It's just very, very strong in what it can do. Obviously, the new support is just absolutely incredible as well. I've been begging Chris to build the deck before the support even came out. I told him to play it. It's such a fun deck. But obviously, with the support, it's now absolutely incredible. It's so much better than what it is. And this man has recently just taken it to third place in the online regionals in Oceania. So, which is just absolutely insane. So it's really, really great to see how well he's done with it. Obviously, it's a very, very powerful deck, and Chris is a great player as well. So we are going to go for many, many mill effects and many, many things going on with our leader, which is absolutely great for this deck. Obviously, we just want to be loading up our drop area as much as we can. We want to get our overarms going. Chris wants to set up his unison to get things going as well. So that way he can just keep refueling, keep overarming, because we do run the Demigray Unison in this deck, so it does give us that wormhole effect, so then we can overarm twice per turn, which overarm is just such a strong keyword. Plus, I feel like so many of the cards that have overarm are just so powerful in their own way, right? Which is just absolutely insane. So we are going to swing in, we're going to burst 3, and we're going to draw 1 card, which look at that, we've got 4 cards in our drop area already. How good is that? You know, it's exactly what we want. We are going to combo with our 21. We are then going to go play into Demigray. Now, I would assume, I think we saw a Sun Goten in hand, which has the crit. I would dare say that Chris is going to overarm that, or we go for, it looks like we have Ravager in hand there too. So we are going to go maybe for the Ravager, which is great too. So we are going to go, for Ravager to 15k, which is perfect. So we are going to burst on Demigray's effect, and we're going to also burst on the Ravager effect as well, because why not? As I said, we need to just refuel our drop. So we're going to swing 15 crit in. Now we may also have a 10k crit just here in the background, I believe, because we do get 2 overarms now that we have Wormhole, which is very, very strong. What do we need in our warp? So we are going to go for, it looks like, our Goten. And we do, I think it was exactly 9 in our warp just there, I think is what Chris just counted to, which means that we, so we're going to swing in with our Goten just here. So we're going to keep our pressure on just there. We're going to combo it out straight away. We are then going to uptick our unison just here. And then that allows us to bring back 2 cards, 2 black battle cards specifically, from our warp into our drop area, which is really nice. And again, we only need 2 overrealm for that Goten and Trunks, which is absolutely insane. So looks like we're passing on to turn 2. So this is kind of what we need. So if you have an aggro deck, obviously that's what you want. You want to be able to just aggress as much as possible, especially against Android 21, who's really going for a longer game just here. We've got to keep that pressure on with Supreme Kai. So we are going to take a life, which again, rather scary against an aggro deck just to get our searches going, but it's kind of what we have to do, unfortunately, in this matchup. Now we are going to grab, looks like we're grabbing our SCR just here. I don't know, and maybe I'm being pessimistic. I don't know if we're even going to get to that point, depending on how much Chris can pop off. Just because he can do a hell of a lot this next turn on 2 energy, but we'll see exactly what he ends up going for. Now, technically, I guess we do have 3 energy. What we're going to do, though, is we know we're going into our Z battle card just here. There's no doubt about that. So we go into our Z, we ramp. We then have, I guess, our blocker going, right, which is quite nice. And I believe she's only 1 specified, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong though. She could be 2 specified, I believe. But if she is 1, obviously that's really nice. Can just pay the clone token if we wanted to. But she probably is 2 specified, and I just don't remember myself. So we are going to go into that. Obviously, we do get an untap, which is nice. We are going to swing a 10k crit. I don't think Chris cares. He's trying to fuel up his drop anyway in a way that he probably can just take the crit, let it go to the drop area, and then he gets keep going. Best thing as well is that he plays his SCR from the warp too anyway. It is the combo SCR, I know that the Evil Saiyan. So the fact that he can just kind of get that going is just absolutely fine. We did get another Ravager. We're going to just charge. Our Unison, I don't think we really care. We don't really need 1 technically because we can just bring it back so easily. We are going to pay 1. We're going to ramp 1 just here. So we do have at least 1 blocker on our board, which is quite nice. So that can slow down, I guess, a little bit, which is great. So we are going to swing in. We're going to burst 3, which is good. So that's 3 of the new promos just went just there. So we had the Goten and we also had the Trunks. Both absolutely incredible cards. So again, can be played from Warp the Goten, which is nice. Trunks doesn't, but as long as you have Trunks in play, you can play the Goten for 1 energy, which is great here. So we are going to, it looks like, swing in. We are going to play out into our Trunks just here, which is great to see, all right? We're going to put 2 back in with our Demigra. We're obviously going to burst to give us our wormhole as well. So there's a lot of little triggers going on you have to remember. We're going to pay 1. It looks like we're going to go for our Bardock just here because we have done a warp and we're going to get rid of the 2 Z cards, which is perfect for Chris. This is exactly what he wants. We are then going to swing in with our... I think it's Mars Saiyan, I believe it is. We're going to swing in our Mars Saiyan. We're going to take it to, I think it's a 20k as well, so we're taking it to 25 just here. We're going to go for our Awaken, which is kind of great here for Chris as well. Forcing an Awaken is definitely valuable. Potentially have a negate, though, in hand, hopefully on Jake's side if we need to, but we are at 15. I haven't seen a super combo yet in hand, but I can't see a lot of Jake's hand, but it looks like we do have a super combo. I'm going to bottom deck, draw 2 just here. Now, going up to 30, obviously 2 cards from hand does hurt a little bit. And then when we combo, he does get a clone token into play. So technically, we have some energy right now. Everything's specified, though, in Endo 21. There's quite a lot of specified. So I don't think we're really going to be doing anything too crazy right now. I think, looks like we're thinking about Zing, but I can't remember in this deck whether anything's worth Z charging. I don't think really Black has that great of a Z deck, so it's more just about swinging cards and getting some value. So great thing here as well is obviously coming from the warp with this combo, which is ideal, right? So we can go warp with this combo, swing in, combo 5k. Takes us to 24. Does have dual attack. Doesn't have a once per turn on the effect, but it means that there's 2 extra cards now in the drop area, right? So Chris just needs some maths. He's got 5. Can get 6 this turn, right? Very easily then just overwhelm with 6, play something out. He also has his 1 energy up, which means he can play his Go 10 just here. That's 1 card that he wants to keep in the warp. He would rather have that in the warp. But it's going to come with that different Go 10. And then we're just going to put that in the drop. That gives us 6, right? We can then overwhelm 6 if we wanted to. But it looks like he doesn't really care too much. So we're going to go for another combo just here. Go another 5k. Taking up to 24 once again, that gives us 7. So he's got overwhelm 7 now. He can then play something out and start swinging a little bit more. We're just forcing cards from Jake's hand as much as we can is the ideal thing, right? So it looks like we're going to pay 1, take it to 25, and we're going to Z charge that. We're then going to, it looks like we're just going to overwhelm this Go 10 instead, which is also a very good choice. Obviously having double strike, so putting that pressure on 25k as well. Plus, when we play from hand, we get to draw a card, which is nice. So just having that in the background. Obviously, Jake is going to negate that. Chris still having 1 energy left up. Still has a chance to play the go 10. We're just going to swing 9 into, I believe it's a 5, right? I think. Yeah, there's no point defending that on Jake's side. We can still play that go 10, as I said, for 1 energy if we wanted to, which it looks like exactly what we're going to do. I don't think Jake had enough Z energy to get the effects going. Obviously, the limit 1's not restricted to the play. The limit 1 is what is on the play from Warp, right? So not the Overrealm. And my apologies, I said before, Black doesn't have really many good Z cards. I just remembered. Pan is obviously the ideal Z card for this deck. So that was my bad just there. Obviously, that has a very, very good Z card for this deck. Most of the time, the Black Z deck isn't really like that great. But obviously, in this matchup or in this this specific deck, the Pan is very, very important. Because then rather than critting a life and losing it, it just allows us to go straight back into it. And I think that's probably, I guess, look, we're going to go for the effect here anyway, because obviously we've got such a good board. There would be no way that you'd want to lose all of that. I think next turn, Chris will probably use the Pan, so we just rejuvenate, right? And that's probably the ideal thing here. Whereas before, obviously with Kai, you lose a life. Eventually, it gets a little bit scary, gets a little bit hairy, losing that life. But we had such good cards as well. Obviously, as I said, Overrealm, always a great card kind of attached to it, I feel like. So the thing is that when we have an Overrealm and you can keep them around, they're usually very, very impactful here. So kind of great here for Chris being able to just keep that whole board around. He gets to swing with that Trunks twice and he's got 2 25k double strikers, which is absolutely insane, I feel like. So very, very strong for him. Next turn, I would say next turn we set up Pan. That then allows us to have a few more shenanigans, not lose as much life. Obviously, on 21 side here, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 energy, technically, right? We've only got 1 specified green, though, which is rather sad. The fact that we've only got 1 specified green kind of hurts. I don't think we can play into our 8 cost just here, which is really what we'd want to do on this turn, but we need a bit more specified green. Obviously, I think it's 2 specified green for the 8 cost, and I think we've only got 1 specified green. I could be wrong. I can see another Android 21 down there. I could be wrong. I think that's just the blue one, though. I don't think that's the multi, which is kind of sad. So the fact that we've only got access to that right now hurts a little bit. I think you do need, I think it may be 5 specified, though. I think it's 2 green, 3 blue. So which at the moment, Jake doesn't have that established, unfortunately. So we wouldn't even be able to 8 cost. I was wrong there anyway. We do need at least 5 energy. It looks like we are going to go for Pan. Going to give the Pan over. Going to play another. So I'm going to pay 2, 3, 4. I'm assuming we're going for a double strike. Unless we're going for, looks like we're going for the Z stack instead. So we are going for the Z stack 21. The good thing is we can choose a battle card from the board. And we can choose one from underneath from our Z deck as well if we wanted, which we could grab our triple striker, which would be scary. Obviously, that puts Chris at a scary range, obviously down at 2. But let's see what he decides to go for. Looks like we are going for the Vegito. And then we're going to, I'm assuming we're going to grab something with the Z stack. I assume we steal probably one of the Go 10s. 25 double strike coming in is rather scary. I wouldn't be too keen on facing that every turn. Because we have Z stack 2 on this card, not just 1. So 1 from battle area, 1 from underneath that Z. Which I hope Jake does that effect. I hope. I know he's Z stacked, but it looks like maybe not from board. He's going to restand 3. Going to draw 1. We definitely need to probably keep that 18 in hand, I would say, for a little bit more energy. And then it looks like instead what we're going to do is we're going to go into our SCR just here. So we are going to get to rejuvenate 2. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and then we get to rejuvenate 2, which is perfect just here. Very, very strong for Jake. Because he needs to just choose 2 each. Yeah, choose 2, and then he can do the rejuvenate up to 2, right? This is kind of his max, which is very valuable here. I think he has to do that, and then rejuvenate his 2, going out to 4. So it's a little bit harder for him to get through, which is very, very strong. I think they're just double checking probably exactly what the wording is and everything. But yes, he could steal those, and then he gets his 2 life because he does have his 4 underneath there. Right, so he's got his 4 cards underneath. Oh, sorry, no, those ones must be removed from the game, unfortunately. So when it's removed from the battle area, it must get removed from the game. So then it doesn't go underneath. So he only gets 2. I still think he gets his rejuvenate though, from the understanding the wording, the way it is, because he only has to choose the cards. They don't have to specifically go underneath. He does still get his rejuvenate because he's technically chosen 4 cards, right? But they don't go underneath, so they would just go away, as exactly as they did just then. Because I think the way it reads is when it's removed from a battle area, it is removed from the game instead. So it can't be like moved from battle area to battle area. So the specific thing is that yes, as soon as it's removed from a battle area, it just kind of disappears. It doesn't go underneath, but he still gets the effect of the rejuvenate because he's chosen 4, which is perfect. Obviously, getting it to go back up to 4 life is quite nice here. Only scary thing is we've only got 1, technically, I guess 2, 3 energy up, technically. But it looks like what we're going to do is just try to put some pressure this turn, which I respect that as well. I do really, really respect that on Jake's side. I think that's kind of how we have to go against Kai. Obviously, he's putting a lot of pressure, but if we can put some pressure back into Kai, I respect that. Try to force some of those cards from hand. So if he goes down here to 3, it'd be rather scary. If I was Jake now, we'd probably swing the triple, I would think, right? Swing the triple straight in. We're going to steal that effect. I think we go the triple first. We do have, though, it looks like, do we have it? No, I think we're tapped out, right? I don't think we have any energy left. I think Chris has gone pretty aggressive that last turn. Probably wasn't expecting this back at him, to be fair. I wasn't either. I wasn't expecting a hell of a lot from this turn. But the fact that we have got something like this is huge. I think, yes, we swing the triple strike in, and then we need to combo a little bit. So looks like Jake isn't going for that play, which I'm kind of surprised. I feel like it would have been worth... I think it would have been worth stealing the triple, going for the swing just there, forcing some damage if we can, or forcing Chris to use pretty much his whole hand. Obviously, if he takes the triple, he's down at 1. We've got a 40k dual attacker, which is pretty insane. So I think Jake maybe could have gone a little bit more aggressive that turn rather than leaving that up, because now he's facing this, unfortunately. So this Cumber, he then gets to look through life. We're going to send the SCR, because I can't remember how the SCR reads, but I believe it doesn't have the energy cost, but he's going to use the effect anyway. So I think what he realized he was going to get his cards back. We're looking through life. We've got negate, we've got a dirty burst, we've got a free negate, and we've got burn life 21, and I think a 4 cost 21, which doesn't give you much when I say a 4 cost 21. But looks like we are going to take the negate out, which I think is definitely a good choice. Obviously, we've got Dirty Burst left here in there, but again, it's not untapped, so we don't have access to 2 negates, you know what I mean? We've only got access to 1 negate, technically, here with the Dirty Burst, and we don't have access to the effect. Can't steal anything from Warp with Cumber, but obviously that lingering effect is rather strong, right? So we do have access to that, which means that when, say we play a Android 17, okay, we don't get the effect because the card goes straight to the side of Chris, right? So we don't get that full effect of the Android 17, which is very, very strong here, and tough for Jake, because he's probably banking on that card maybe being his negate. And that's why I think maybe he should put a little bit more pressure last turn. I think he should have swung in that triple strike. Try to force that damage, obviously combo a little bit into it. It would have been value, and then swing the dual attack 40k if he went down to 1 life, right? If he did, it would have been absolutely insane. But it doesn't look like he chose that route, so we're going a different route. Going to have to be a little bit more defensive just here. it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, I didn't see that card in Chris's hand before either. It could have been hiding, but he may have also drawn that for turn, which is very, very, very nice grab for sure, being able to just take your opponent down a life pretty much for free without really having to swing. We paid 2 energy for it. Plus, if we did have something in warp, which usually you get to play that out onto your board too, which is just very, very strong. So, Chris is going for his Overrealm just here. We are going to grab back something with the Goku. Sorry, I didn't see exactly what we grabbed. But I'm going to play out our Marseillan because we do have the effect here because we have Overarm, which is great. We are then going to use the effect and we're going to get rid of that SCR. Obviously, the SCR gets removed from the game. So it should be separate from our Warp just there because all Ultimate, as soon as they leave the board, get removed from the game now, which is quite nice. Obviously, it means you can't recur Cumber at all as well. That Evil Saint's SCR, because that would have been pretty valuable, obviously, going to the drop and then being able to play again. So, we are going to... Looks like swing with Pan, I'm assuming. Once again, as I said, you can give Pan back to your opponent if you want to, but it just gives him one less energy to use right now, right? Because he could have just used the 17. But he does have his Z... Sorry, you can only play 21s, I believe, off that effect, with the effect. So, we are going to block, it looks like. We're going to block the 25k, I want to say it is. Swinging in with a 30 just here. Now, the only hard thing is if we go for a 17 negate just here, as I said, you go straight to Chris's side. He just gets rid of one of the cards on his board. He doesn't really care too much about them. So you can just get rid of it and then you just don't get the effect. But 30k is a lot to combo out of, unfortunately, for Jake here. There is a potential he could take it, knowing that we don't have much just here. We've only got another 40k, another 15. So there is a potential that we take it. The only scary thing is there is a lot of double strike overarm. So we do have to fear that a little bit in the background, right? As I said, overrealm cards usually very, very strong. Always have very good effects. So we do have access to things like that. And obviously we know we have a Go tank. So we are going to go 25, 35 just there. So using 4 cards from hand, which is rather painful. Going to Z charge 1, rest to drop. But I think, unfortunately, Jake kind of had to do it. It didn't feel great, but he had to do it just here. And I think he saves the 17 negate for the killing blow here. I think what he does is he probably has to take that damage, unfortunately. Chris then, goes for his double strike. We do, thankfully, get the negate out of it. So we swing, we do negate, right? We got a dirty burst. Perfect. So we got the dirty burst from the life. That was the one life that we wanted to grab. But he did have Android 17 in hand as well. So we'd have still got the negate. And then we can swing Cumber in, taking him down to 1. Which I feel like is rather risky in a way, taking him down to 1. Could be kind of scary, but also puts you in a pretty good position. Looks like we're not deciding to crit this life. We are just going to swing in with the unison not to keep it standing, I guess. And we're just going to let them leave at the end of turn, right? No crit on the life. We've got 3 cards in hand. Pretty scary here, I would say, for Chris, right? We've got our 2 green, 3 green. It looks like now we've got 3 green. We've got 3 blue. We can also restand Unison and the other cards, right? Which is nice. So we do have access to things. It looks like, though, the hand isn't looking great right now, which is kind of painful. But what we can do here is we can potentially... I'm wondering if Jake runs. He does probably have a Cell or something, or like a Beerus or something like that. So if we do have Beerus, we have great value. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 1 blue. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Unless I counted terribly wrong there. Should be 8, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I may have counted very badly just there. So we are going to go for our 8 cost, which allows us to untap at the end of turn as well, which is quite valuable. Double strike, dual attack, 25k as well, which is kind of that perfect number just here. But again, we don't have a lot in hand right now, unfortunately. I don't know if we want to give Chris the cards, but potentially we swing 25 in. We just leave it 25. He can just use his whole hand if he combos out. He probably just takes the damage, though. Probably just takes damage. We don't know what's in hand, but we could just go straight 30 here, combo out, and then just have like not a massive turn. We've only seen, I believe, 2 super combos on Chris's side, though. If I remember right, I think we have only got 2 super combos. So I think I've seen one go to the warp, and I believe one has been comboed by Chris from hand. So he still potentially has 2 super combos. They could be in the life. We don't know. I don't know if he's searched through his deck. I don't know if he knows if he's kept track where things are. We don't have access to a lot of other things, though. That's the other scary thing, right? So let's see what Chris decides to do. I think, although it feels greedy, I think potentially he has to take this damage here. Again, we can see Jake's hand. Jake only has 3 cards in hand. 2 of them negates. Andrew 17 negates, and I think the other one is a physical hard negate as well. So he doesn't have a lot to do. Chris having to think. This is a tough moment, and I respect obviously thinking this out, because it could kind of determine whether it's a win or not. He does have, I believe, exactly 30k in hand just here. So it looks like we are taking the damage, just hoping that we find something of value. So we are going to swing in another double strike. If I was Jake, I think you take it straight up to 35 here. We did get a super combo, so perfect. We did get a super combo off that life, because I don't think we had one in hand just before. So 25, 30, 35, perfect. So we did get that combo out. So that's perfect for Chris. Very, very nice. Otherwise, he would have used his whole hand on that 30. But at the same time, I don't think it was too bad, him losing the 3 cards from hand. Either way, I think he was quite safe, which is really nice. So what we do have, though, we do have the minus here on the Demigra. So we can add 2 battle cards that energy cost of 7 or less, and the overwhelm skill from the warp to the hand, which could be quite valuable just here for Chris. We've got 2 life, right? 2 life. So can he get a double strike on board, which I dare say that we can quite easily get a double strike on board. We are going to play, it looks like, the Boo just here, putting another card in our drop from our Z, right? Another 2, sorry, it's 2. And we are just going to steal this Android 21. Now, I believe that Boo as well can steal the effect, or it gets a buff or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it does. I know it definitely gets a buff of like 20. We are going to Android 17 negate. I don't know if we've got the Z. I think we've got at least 2, I want to say. It could be 3. Could be 3 just there, so we potentially have that effect going just now, which isn't the end of the world. Again, Chris needs to establish a double striker. We did pay an energy, obviously, for that. So we are going to go for, it looks like the Kai negate that we have. Sorry, not the Kai negate, but the counter from the Goku, which is kind of perfect, which is specifically for Supreme Kai. Really, really strong. So we can negate the counter effect, right? Which is going to be a pretty big turn now for Chris. Obviously being able to stop that from happening. This swing coming in, it looks like we're going to bean. And we're going to take a damage here, which is interesting. So we're going to go 30k. Coming in with a 30k. We are then going to assume wormhole. Yep, we're going to wormhole, we're going to burst, we're going to bring 2. We are then going to grab something back, and I would dare say that we grab probably a double striker here, I would think. Oh, we're going to grab a 25k. Oh, sorry, we don't even need double strike anymore. We just need big. We just need big. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. So we are going to swing in. Goku's a 5k. We swing our 30k Goku just here, right? There's potential that it gets negated again, right? But I'm hoping that we have some effects. Looks like we're going to use the effect of it on board, which is send the card to the warp, draw 2, and then you send one card from the hand to the warp, which just gives us a little bit more cycle. So we do have another double strike. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. We can use our plus, so we're going to put 2 more in there. I would swing with we swung with a 30, obviously negated straight away. So we do have access to our 6. He's just deciding what's the best option just here. We're going to swing Kai in. We're going to combo. Looks like we're going, yeah, so perfect. So we have gone to 30 just there. Jake has exactly 25. So there we go, guys. Supreme Kai of Time, showing why it's so good at the moment. Very, very strong deck. I'm glad to see that Black is kind of back in the meta. I feel like I had a long time off being very meta, but this Kai deck is just absolutely insane. I think Chris pilots it very, very well. It's very aggressive, does a lot of things. And 21, obviously getting to show off a little bit of what it does. I feel like maybe it's a little bit too slow for this matchup in a way. Obviously, Kai just gets so much aggression, so much value. But very, very good matchup. Very, very back and forth, which I really, really like to see as well. And we actually got to see the SCR finally go off and trigger its effect, which is awesome to see. I always love seeing that effect. He would have definitely liked having that 4-cost Android 21 in hand. I think that would have made huge value for him. But Chris was getting a few Z energy. Obviously, that's the reason you want a Z against 21 as well. It's just having that Z energy gives you access to that so you can keep swinging. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.